Thank you very much indeed. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong and welcome to Pointless, the quiz show where obvious answers mean nothing and obscure answers mean everything. Let's meet today's players. Now, welcome, Pat and Tony. You're our first pair on the show. Now, how do you two know each other?
Well, I'm Pat and this is my youngest son, Tony.
Where have you come from?
I've come from Leytonstone, East London.
Leytonstone, East London. Yes. Very popular choice amongst the audience there. Tony, how about you?
Yeah, this is my mum, and I've moved out of London, London Overspill now. I'm from Chelmsford in Essex.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, are we going to do this after every place? Tony, what do you do?
I'm a civil servant.
A civil servant. Can I ask which department of the civil service?
Yeah, I work for the prison service.
The prison service, I see. Pat, how about you?
I'm a retired dog's body.
A retired dog's body? And how many years of dog's bodying have you?
Ooh, about 40.
Right. Any favourite moments in the dog's bodying?
Oh, yes, I certainly like doing wardrobe.
Wardrobe?
In the theatricals.
You did theatrical wardrobe?
I did theatrical wardrobe.
Very good indeed. Whereabouts did you do that?
Mainly at Seaside, pantomimes, Blackpool, Chesterfield, places like
That must have been enormous fun.
It was great fun.
Very good indeed. What would you like to see come up this afternoon, Pat?
EastEnders, please.
EastEnders. It does from time to time. Very good indeed. Now, Tony, what about you? What would you like to see come up?
Some history, some sport, definitely football. Anything to do with food, because I like it, eating it and cooking it.
Very good. Well, very best of luck to the pair of you. Great to have you on the show. And next we welcome Johnny and Stephen. Now, where are you two from?
From Blackwood and Gwent.
And how do you know each other?
Well, we've been friends since primary school or even nursery. Got through secondary school together. Played football with each other. Then played for the Cardiff City Football Academy. Then Stephen went on to be a professional footballer. I went into the armed forces, and now we're back in our hometown, retired. Well, doing something we don't really want to do now.
You're back home. So what do you do now, Stephen?
I'm a retained firefighter at the moment, and also I'm hoping to go to university in September to do physiotherapy.
Physiotherapy, right. And then the football, is that just a sideline now? Or
Still playing part-time, yeah, in the Welsh Premier League, but 30 now, so my knees are starting to pack in a little bit and
dear.
getting a bit of a belly.
So they're getting a bit of a belly, but hence the physiotherapy, I guess. That'd be a very
interesting
great thing to
physiotherapy. So yeah.
Very good. And Johnny, what are you doing now? Are you still in the armed forces?
No, I left the armed forces after 6 years. I joined in 2000, left in 2006, just to come out to be with my family. And now I'm an electrician, domestic electrician working at the Cardiff.
Ah, I see. So were you with the Signals, is it?
Royal Signals, yeah. Royal Signals.
Very good. What would you like to see come up this afternoon, Johnny?
A bit of anything to do with sport, football mainly. We think we're both strong at that. Pop music, random pop music.
Random pop music. Any era of pop music you want to pick out?
90s. We do have a bit of trivia 90s, yes.
Very good. Stephen, how about you?
As sport, obviously.
Clearly, yes. Football. You're going to be hard to beat on that.
Science and a bit of geography, hopefully.
Well, very warm welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thanks very much.
Very best of luck. And next we welcome Libby and Lottie. Now, how do you two know each other?
Lottie started dating my fiance's ex-flatmate, and we just sort of started to hang out.
Brilliant. Excellent. OK, good. That's good.
It's like a relationship Sudoku, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yes. How long ago was that, Libby?
It was about a year ago.
Yeah.
About a year ago? So you only met a year ago? And already you feel up to doing Pointless together. How interesting.
Well, we kind of loved Pointless. I had a day off work and went, have you seen this quiz show? It's awesome. And then you went, it is. And
very good. So you watch it regularly?
We do.
Very good. Well, Lottie, you'll be familiar with it. What's the sort of question you've seen on Pointless before and you think if that came up, we would go right through to the final?
Ooh. I saw one where you had children's books and name the authors, and I knew all of those. That was a good one.
Very good. Yep, they come up from time to time.
And we'd be good about anything about cooking as well.
Yes.
Bit of cooking. Do you cook a lot?
We do.
We cook together.
Well, a very warm welcome to the show. Very, very best of luck. And finally, we welcome Dee and Colin back to the show. You were on the show last time. Everyone gets 2 chances to reach our final, and this is your second chance. Remind us what happened last time.
Well, we did brilliantly in the first round.
You did?
We thought we were in with a good shot here. But unfortunately, placing in the second round, they stole my answers. Stole them.
These were fictional places and their authors.
That's right.
Yes, it was.
Dear. Dee, what's going to come up that's going to be good for you?
Well, quite happy with movies. Any music, sort of 70s, 80s, 90s, bit of rugby. Do you like our rugby?
Yeah, we like a rugby question.
Very good. Well, as we discovered last time, you not only met bowling,
Yeah.
bowling has sort of become your lives. You now both coach people in bowling.
do.
What else do you do when you're not bowling?
Well, a bit of photography. We're part of the RSPB. Joined that this year, so we're sort of combining the two, going around the bird.
So you photograph birds?
Photographing, yeah.
Very, very long
Wild
lenses.
birds.
Working
Oh
on it.
yeah, long lens.
Well, very, very best of luck with that. And very best of luck this afternoon, Colin and Dee. Great to have you here. We'll find out more about all of you throughout the show as we go along. There's only one person left for me to introduce. He is our beacon in the twilight world of the half-known and the ill-remembered. He's my pointless friend. He's Richard.
I am. Thank you. Hiya.
How are you, Richard?
I'm very well. Did you say twilight? I thought
Twilight.
Twilight. Because I thought you said toilet.
No, the twilight.
I thought you were accusing me of being in a toilet world of some sort.
Not on this one occasion, Richard. I'm not accusing you of that.
It should be a good show today. We've only got one returning pair. That's Dee and Colin, who they did pretty well last time. We didn't see too much of them, though. But we're eternally grateful because they taught us how to 10-pin bowl. Didn't they? Do you remember your finishing position?
That. And I seem to... Oh, no, it's that, isn't it? It's that.
Where does that hand
And
go?
that. It comes up to my ear.
That's right.
Bravo, perfect.
Look at that.
Spot on.
That's it.
Love it.
Oh, look at that. Yes! OK, well, thanks very much, Richard. Now, we've put all our questions to 100 people before the show, but this is pointless. We are after the obscure answers they didn't get. To stay in the game with a chance to win our jackpot, all our players need to do is score as few points as they possibly can. Now, what everyone's trying to do, of course, is find a pointless answer. That's an answer that none of our 100 people gave. And each time that happens, we will add £250 to the jackpot. Nobody won the jackpot last time, so we add another £1,000 to that. So today's jackpot starts off at £6,500. Right, let's play Pointless. In the first round, each of you must give me one answer and you cannot confer with your partner. Whichever team has the highest score at the end of the round will be eliminated. If anyone gives me an incorrect answer, they will score the maximum of 100 points, so try to avoid those if you can. OK, our first category this afternoon is albums. Can you decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what our first question is. Here it comes. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many solo artists with a UK #1 album in the 1990s as they could. Solo artists in the 1990s with a UK #1 album. Richard.
Yeah, we're looking for any solo artist who's had a #1 album in the UK charts from the very beginning of 1990 to the very end of 1999. Greatest hits albums will count, live albums will count. The only rule is it must be a solo artist, please. So very, very best of luck.
Thank you very much, Richard. OK, Pat and Tony, you all drew lots before the show. And this afternoon, you get to go first. So, Pat, solo artists with a UK #1 album in the 1990s.
No, I'm a 60s girl myself, but I'll take a punt on Cliff Richard.
Cliff Richard. You're just hoping any decade from about the 1840s on.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Cliff
But was that
Richard
around then?
Cliff Richard, you're going to say, let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said Cliff Richard. It's right. Very well done, Pat. 9. It's a brilliant answer. 9 for Pat, for Cliff Richard.
Yeah, well played, Pat. Very good start. Cliff Richard will never let you down, will he? From 1993, had a #1 with The Album.
Splendid. Now then, Stephen. The 1990s, good period for you? Yep.
It was.
That's what you said.
Few go around my head at the moment, some obvious ones, but I'm going to take a bit of a gamble, I think, and go with, I'm not sure if he's definitely had #1 album, but I'm going to go with Peter Andre.
Peter Andre, says Stephen. Let's see if that's right. You're hoping to score as few points as possible. Let's see if it's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said it. Peter Andre. It's right! Very well done, Stephen. Oh, it's brilliant. Look at that pointers! It's a great answer. Very well done, Stephen. It adds £250 to today's jackpot, takes the total up to £6,750, and it scores you nothing. Very well done indeed, Stephen.
Yeah, well played, Stephen. Peter Andre has indeed released a pointless album. #1 in who'd have thought? 1996 had a #1 hit with Natural.
There you go.
They weren't all good, the 90s, were they?
No. There we go. Now then, Lottie.
Yes.
1990's UK #1 album
I
by
was very
solo
young.
artists.
I'm not very good at this. Been struggling a little bit with the solo artists. I can think of hundreds of bands from when I was a child, but not really any solo artists. And I had one, but I'm not sure if it was 2000 or 1999. So I'm going to go with Dido, but I'm not sure at all.
Dido. Let's see if Dido's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said Dido. Very best of luck, Lottie. Bad luck. Lottie, bad luck. I'm afraid Dido's an incorrect answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. I'm sorry. Richard.
Yeah, unlucky Lottie. Dido she's had 2 #1 albums, both in the noughties.
Now then, Dee. I think you might have a blinder.
Not so much a blinder. I'm racking my brain because I'm really a 70s and 80s girl. But there's one artist that I know has been quite prolific over many of the decades. I'm going to plump for Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Phil Collins says D for the 90s. You hope to score as few points as possible. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said Phil Collins. Well done, D. That's a brilliant answer. And down and down and down it goes. Look at that, 2. That's amazing. That's a fantastic answer, D. 2 for Phil Collins. Richard.
Yeah, very well played, Dee. Actually had 3 #1 albums in the 90s, Phil Collins. One of which was Greatest Hits, Both Sides, and But Seriously, which was very, very early on in that decade.
Thank you very much. Let's take a look at the scores. We're halfway through the round. Best score of the pass. Stephen and Johnny looking fantastic there on nothing. Then we got up to 2, where we find Dee and Colin. Then up to 9, where we find Pat and Tony, all of you in single figures.
And then I failed.
And then we got up to 100, I'm afraid. Lottie, I'm sorry. Lottie and Libby on 100. So, Libby, you're going to have to find a brilliant answer in the next pass and hope somebody else trips up. Otherwise, we'll have to say goodbye to you at the end of the round. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, we are looking for solo artists who had a UK #1 album in the 1990s. Colin, how well did Dee do there?
Fantastic. Unfortunately, she stole the answer I had lined up. But I think I'm going to take a bit of a punt, another survivor of an earlier band, and I'm going to go with Sting.
Sting.
Because he was pretty prolific as well.
He certainly was. Sting, you say? There's your red line. If you get below that red line with Sting, you're home and dry. Let's see if Sting's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said Sting. Very well done. You've done it, Colin. Oh, and you have done it. Look at that. Oh, fantastic. 3. Very well done, Colin. That takes your total up to 5.
Yeah, well played, Colin. Safely through. Had a #1 in 1991 with Soul Cages. Also later in the decade, a sort of greatest hits, but that was with the Police as well. But Soul Cages, 91.
Libby. So we are looking for solo artists who had a UK #1 album in the 1990s. You know what you have to do. We need preferably a pointless answer from you.
I'm going to try. I thought of one about a minute ago, which I think would be genius, but I'm taking a bit of a gamble. I'm going to say Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin. Now, there's no red line for you. You just have to hope you're going to go as low as you possibly can. But let's see if Ricky Martin's going to do it for you. Ricky Martin, is it right? How many people said it? No! Unfortunately, a wrong answer, I'm afraid, Libby, which means you score the maximum of 100 points, which takes your total up to 200 points, I'm sorry to say. Richard?
Yeah, sorry, Libby. The bad news is Ricky Martin didn't have a #1 album in the 90s, but the good news is, hey, Ricky Martin didn't have a #1 album in the 90s.
OK, now then, Johnny. Stephen scored nothing. Absolutely nothing. Do you think you can equal his score?
I don't know. I don't want to sort of commit myself, but I between 1 and 2. I think I'll go with Gabrielle.
Gabrielle, says Johnny. Gabrielle. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said it. Now, there's no red line for you, because even if you score 100, you still won't overtake Libby and Lottie's high score of 200. Gabrielle, is it right? How many people said it? Oh. Bad luck. An incorrect answer, as it turns out. Scores you 100. Couldn't matter less. You're through to the next round anyway. Richard?
Yeah, sorry, Johnny. Good risk to take, though, given you were definitely through already. She did have a couple of top 10 albums in the 90s, but not #1, I'm afraid.
And Tony, you are also through to the next round. Whatever you score, you'll not overtake Libby and Lottie on their high score of 200. Bearing that in mind, why not have a punt and see if you can find another pointless answer?
I couldn't think of anything because being an 80s boy, that was my time for music. But being as I was a whammy, I'll go with George Michael.
You're saying George Michael. Let's see if that is right. Again, no red line for you, Tony. You're through, come what may. Let's see, though, if George Michael's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said it. It's right. 14 for George Michael takes your total up to 23. Richard.
Yeah, well played, Tony the Whammy. He had 3 #1 albums in the 90s. Listen Without Prejudice. He had older and a greatest hits collection as well. Very good answer. There's a whole bunch of pointless answers up here. We've heard one already. Let's take a look at some others. Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. Bruce Springsteen had a couple of #1 albums in the 90s. Diana Ross had a greatest hits. Enya with Shepherd Moon. Fatboy Slim, You Come a Long Way, Baby. Jane McDonald had a #1 album in the 90s as well. Meatloaf, Morrissey with Vauxhall and I, and Prince, who had 2 #1s as well. And of course, we've already heard Peter Andre just added £250 to the jackpot.
What about the high scores, Richard?
OK, let's take a look at the ones that most of our 100 people said. Some big names, as you'd imagine. Madonna on 19. Tied at the top, Robbie Williams, who scored you 20, and also scoring 20, Michael Jackson.
Splendid. Thank you very much, Richard. So at the end of round 1, the losing pair with the highest score, I'm sorry to say it's Libby and Lottie. But what a score.
At least we failed equally.
And at least we did it brilliantly.
Yeah.
A score. I think you did incredibly well. You are now members of that august body of people known as the 200 Club. Yes. So very, very warm welcome to that. We will have to look forward to seeing you next time. But in the meantime, I have to say goodbye and thank you very much for playing Libby and Lottie. Lovely having you on the show. But for the remaining 3 pairs, it's now time for round 2. There's only going to be room for 2 pairs in the head-to-head, obviously, so one of the teams in front of me now will be leaving us at the end of this round. Try and make sure it's not you. Our category for round 2 is languages. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. And our question concerns countries in their native languages. Countries in their native languages, Richard.
Yeah, on each pass, we're going to show you the names of 6 countries as they're known in their own native languages. We asked 100 people to tell us the English name of that country. Give us a nice obscure answer, you're going to score fewer points, but give us an incorrect answer, you'll score 100. There's going to be 12 in all, so very best of luck at home.
OK, thanks very much, Richard. So we are looking for the English names of these countries, and we have got Oostenrijk, Magyarország, Polska, Elas, Sferiga, Italia. I will read those one more time. Oostenrijk, Magyarország, Polska, Elas, Sferiga and Italia. There are the countries in their own languages. We need the English names for them. And obviously you're trying to find the one that the fewest of our 100 people knew. Now then, Tony, how does that look to you?
Watch a lot of international football. So, yeah, got the translations on there. I know a few. I'm happy. I'll go with Magyarország as Hungary.
Magyarország, Hungary. Let's see if it's right for Hungary. And if it is, let's see how many people knew that answer. It's right. Very well done, Tony. 34. Yes, I imagine football has taught 34 out of our 100 people that as well.
I think it's exactly right. I always remember all of these from my sticker annuals from when I was a kid, all the World Cup sticker annuals. The Magyarország, the mighty Magyars, the Hungarian football team were called, so...
Thank you very much. Now then, Johnny. Johnny, again, football, a keen interest of yours, so I'm imagining you're having no problem at all with the board behind.
Well, I got 2 safe ones, and I got one I possibly know just from a bit of sort of history, just recognising an end of a word. I'm gonna go for the one which I'm not quite sure on. I'm going for Österreich, and I think it's Germany.
Österreich, Germany, you're saying. Österreich. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people knew that answer. Österreich, Germany. Bad luck, Johnny. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. I'm sorry, Richard.
Yeah, sorry, Johnny. I won't give the correct answer just in case Colin wants to have a go at the same one.
Now then, Colin, you can talk us through the board and fill in all the gaps if you like, and then submit your favourite one as your answer.
Well, I think as the boys said, there's a couple of obvious ones, Italia, Italy and Polska, Poland. I've got an idea Hellas might be Greece and Sverige might be Sweden, but I'm going to go with Österreich as Austria.
Österreich, Austria is what you're saying. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said Austria for Österreich. Yes. 68. 68, quite a high score. Richard.
Yeah, well done, Colin, but a pretty big score. Gives Johnny and Stephen some hope in the second pass. Funnily enough, you'd have been better off with the other two answers you gave. Sverige, which absolutely right, is Sweden, would have scored you 51. And Hellas, which is Greece, that would have scored you 16.
I just wasn't quite sure enough.
Sometimes written Hellas as well, sometimes with an H.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at those other two. They certainly are obvious. Polska, Poland, would have scored you 96. And one of those rarest of rare things on point lists, Italia, for Italy, would have scored you 100. We don't have that very often, do we?
Certainly don't, no. Well, thank you very much. We're halfway through the round, so let's take a look at the scores as they stand. Tony and Pat looking very strong, lovely low score of 34. And then double that, and we end up at 68, where we find Colin and Dee. And then up a little bit more, and you come to Johnny and Stephen on 100. So yes, Stephen, you're going to have to find a really good obscure answer in the next pass if you're going to save your bacon. Even that may not be enough. Very best of luck. We're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, we're going to put 6 more countries in their native language on the board, and we have got España, Suomi, Russia, Hrvatska, Nippon, Deutschland. I'll read those all one more time. España, Suomi, Russia, Hrvatska, Nippon, Deutschland. Now remember, we are looking for the English names of these countries, and obviously you're trying to find the one that the fewest of our 100 people knew. Now, Dee, the high scorers are Stephen and Johnny on 100. You're on 68. If you can score 31 or less, you are definitely through to the next round.
There's 2 or 3 up there that I'm fairly certain of. Obviously one, quite obvious one. I'm going to go for Nippon, which I think is Japan.
Nippon, Japan, you say. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said it. Here's your red line. That's what you have to get below. Below that, you are definitely in the head-to-head. Nippon, how many people said that? 61.
That's right one. That's the one.
61 takes your total up to 129. Will that be enough to see you through? Let's discover. Richard.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one, isn't it? Yeah, Nippon or Nihon as well. Japanese scholars coined the phrase, started with the Chinese phrase meaning origin of the sun, because Japan is to the east of China.
OK, now Stephen. Remember, we are looking for the English names of these countries. The high scorers are now Dee and Colin on 129. You're on 100, which means if you can find an answer on that board that scores you 28 or less, you are through to the next round.
Yeah, there's a couple on this that are obvious. There's one I'm going to go for. It's a stab in the dark, really. I'm not 100% sure. I could be completely wrong and make a complete fool of myself. But I'm going to go for Suomi as Somalia.
Suomi, Somalia, you're saying. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said it. Here's your red line, quite low. If you get below that, you are through to the head-to-head. Suomi, Somalia, is it right? Bad luck, Stephen, bad luck. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. That takes your total up to 200, an unbeatable 200. Richard.
Yeah, absolutely right, though. You did have to go for it.
Yeah.
I won't give the correct answer just in case Pat wants to go at the same one.
Now then, Pat, the great news is this. You are through to the next round. However, for fun, submit the answer you'd like to give.
I'm going to go for Suomi, and I'm going to go Finland.
Suomi, Finland, says
So
Pat.
to my stamp album.
Very good indeed. No red line for you. You're through whatever happens. Let's see, though, if Suomi is indeed Finland. It is. That's a great answer, Pat. Down it goes to 25. Takes your eventual score up to 59. Rich.
Yeah, very good answer, Pat. Did you say that's because of your stamp collection?
That's right.
Yeah. I'll tell you, who said philately would get you nowhere? Let's take a look at the rest of the board. España at Spain, but would have scored 96 points. Deutschland, that's Germany, of course, but would have scored you 85. Russia, unsurprisingly, is Russia. Another big score was 79. And Hrvatska, again, because they've qualified for a World Cup.
Croatia.
It is Croatia, yeah, very well done. 9 points. It's best answer on the board, so well done if you got that.
Thanks very much, Richard. So at the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest scores, Stephen and Johnny. Bad luck there. Yes, Österreich. I think the minute you heard someone say Austria, you thought,
Yeah, it's obvious then, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry we have to say goodbye to you so soon. However, we will see you again next time when I'm sure we'll see much, much more of you. Meantime, Stephen and Johnny, thanks so much for playing. Great contestants. But for the remaining 2 pairs, things are about to get even more exciting now as we enter the head-to-head. Very well done, Pat and Tony, Dee and Colin. You've made it through to the head-to-head. Now, obviously, only one pair can make it through to today's final and play for the jackpot, which currently stands at £6,750. Now, for each question, each pair needs to give me just one answer, but you are now allowed to confer. All you have to do is come up with an answer that scores less than the other pair, and you will win that question. The first pair to win 2 questions will be playing for today's jackpot. Let's play Pointless. OK, here is your first question. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Best Picture Oscar winners of the 21st century as they could. Richard.
Yeah, we're looking for the full title of any movie that was awarded Best Picture at an Oscar ceremony between the years of 2000 and 2011 inclusive, please. See how many of those you can get at home.
Thank you very much, Richard. Now, Pat and Tony, you've played best throughout the show so far, so you get to go first.
What do you think? You all right with that? Yeah, quite happy with that. Yeah, we've got one.
OK, what are you going to say?
$1 Million Baby.
$1 Million Baby. OK, now then, Dee and Colin.
We're struggling a bit, to be honest. I think we're going to try a risky one, Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan. OK, so we have $1 Million Baby and we have Saving Private Ryan. Pat and Tony said $1 Million Baby. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said it. It's right. Oh, it's very good. Oh, look at that, 3. Very well done, Pat and Tony. An excellent answer. 3 for $1 Million Baby. Right, Saving Private Ryan, say Dee and Colin. It has to be right, and then if it's right, it has to beat 3. Here we go. Saving Private Ryan. Is it right? How many people said it? Oh, bad luck. I'm afraid that's wrong. That means that Pat and Tony are up after the first question, 1-0. Richard.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan, I'm afraid it was too early for us and didn't win Best Picture Oscar either. Shakespeare in Love won in that year. $1 Million Baby, though, very good answer, won in 2004. Clint Eastwood won Best Director for it, and Hilary Swank won Best Actress, and Morgan Freeman won Best Supporting Actor as well. Now, you haven't had too long at home, but let's take a look at all the winners, see how many you got. There's a pointless answer, which is The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. That was a pointless answer. Very well done if you said that. American Beauty would have scored you 1. That won in 2000. No Country for Old Men, the Coen Brothers movie, would have scored you 2. There's $1 Million Baby on 3. Chicago, also on 3. And A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe. That was on 3. There's The Departed on 3. Crash on 4. Slumdog Millionaire 7. Hurt Locker 10. Gladiator 11. And The King's Speech way ahead of the rest on 46.
Thanks very much, Richard. OK, here is your second question. Dee and Colin, you have to win this to stay in the game. Here it comes. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Sebastian Faulks novels as they could. Sebastian Faulks novels, Richard.
Yeah, any full-length novel written and published by Sebastian Faulks prior to May 2011, please. No short stories or collections or anthologies, just his full-length novels.
OK, now then, Dee and Colin, you go first this time.
I think this is going to be a fairly short round then, I'm afraid, because we neither of us know any Sebastian Faulks novels.
Not read anything like at all. I just don't know. I can't think of even
A Day at the Seaside.
a name. I don't know.
A Day at the Seaside.
No idea. No idea.
Pat and Tony, Sebastian Faulks novel.
It's going to be extremely short round because we don't know one either. Can't even guess at one. I don't know. Murder.
A Day at the Seaside and Murder.
The subject is murder.
OK. So, Dee and Colin, A Day at the Seaside by Sebastian Faulks. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people thought that was right. No. What about Murder by Sebastian Faulks. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said it.
Congratulations. We're as good as each other.
OK. After 2 questions, Pat and Tony still up 1-0. Richard?
Yeah, poor old Sebastian Faulks. Sitting at home with a nice cup of tea, thinking, I like Pointless.
Actually, I'll have a little break from my new, what is it, my 7th novel?
11th novel.
11th novel. I'll just settle down and watch a little bit of Pointless.
Got the whole family are sort of upstairs doing things. And he says, everyone, presses pause.
Quick.
They're doing me on Pointless. They're doing me on Pointless. They're going to guess my novels. I wonder what they're going to say. Which of my novels do they like best, I wonder?
Oh,
the whole family coming down the stairs. What is it, Dad?
Quickly, what is it?
Oh, they're doing me on
You're
Pointless.
You're on Pointless, saying. Quick, Dad's on Pointless.
Quick. 15 of the Faulks clan now, all sitting on sofas. He's just pressing unpause there. He's on live replay.
OK.
Everybody, right, everyone now, absolute quiet. Shh, dim the lights. Pull the curtains, dim the lights, because there's a reflection on the screen.
No, quickly, ring everyone we know.
There's a reflection on the screen. I can't see Tony. I can't see Tony's face when he's going to say my novel. And then, look what you did.
Rub it in a bit more. Go
I
on.
thought we played for Man United.
Midfielder. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
That's not helping. You're thinking of Sebastian Veron. Let's take a look at... so the good news for Sebastian Faulks is there's no Pointless answers up here. All of his novels were remembered by at least somebody. 2 points for On Green Dolphin Street, Girl at the Lion Door and A Fool's Alphabet would have scored you 3. Devil May Care, which is his James Bond novel, would have scored 4, as would his first novel, A Trick of the Light. Engleby would have scored you 6, A Week in December 7, Human Traces 8, Charlotte Grey 12 and Birdsong right at the top with 17. Sorry, Sebastian. Sorry, Sebastian's family.
OK, well, here's your third question. Again, D, Colin, you have to win this one to stay in the game. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many UK cities beginning with C as they could. UK cities beginning with C, Richard.
Yeah, we're looking for any of the 7 officially recognised cities in the UK that begin with the letter C. See how many of those 7 you can get at home.
OK, now then, Pat and Tony, you go first again this time.
Well, we know all the popular ones, but we're trying to get something low.
Are they cities or are they big towns?
That's going to be, that's the fault line in this one, isn't it?
They don't need a cathedral anymore, do they, to be a city? So that you can't do it that way. Yes, come on then.
Canterbury.
Canterbury. Canterbury, say Pat and Tony. Canterbury. D and Colin. City beginning with C.
We think probably Coventry
Coventry's a city,
is a
we know, but
correct
it's gonna be
answer, but is likely to
be a high
might
one.
score higher. The other thing we're thinking is maybe Chester, but now
We weren't sure.
I'm concerned that might not be a correct answer.
Coventry's football, isn't it? Coventry City Football Club. People will probably remember
So do we
that.
take a chance and go out in a blaze of glory with
Yeah, go on.
Chester?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll take a punt on Chester.
Can I be brave?
You're going to go for Chester.
We're going to go for Chester.
We have Canterbury and we have Chester. OK, in the order they've been given, Pat and Tony went with Canterbury. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said Canterbury. It's right. 42. 42. So the question really is whether or not Chester is a city. You think if it's right, it'll go lower than that?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Let's find out. Is Chester right? And if it is, how many people said it? Chester. Good luck. It's right. Can it be? Oh! Oh, ho, 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 ho. 49. Wow, so Canterbury beats Chester. But many congratulations, Pat and Tony. You are through after 3 questions, 2-0, through to the final. Richard.
Yeah, unlucky D and Colin. Canterbury, very good answer. There are 2 answers that would have beaten it, though. 2 answers would have won you the point. 7 in all. See how well you've done. Chichester in West Sussex would have scored you 17. Carlisle would have scored you 39. There's Canterbury on 42. Cambridge, 43. Chester, 49. Coventry, 50. And Cardiff right at the top on 74. Very well done if you got all of those.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. So the losing pair at the end of the head-to-head. I'm so sorry. Dee and Colin, it's you. Round 2 last time, though. Through to the head-to-head this time. And fantastic. You played extremely well this show. I'm sorry we have to say goodbye to you now.
That's okay.
But thanks very much for
Good
playing.
fun.
Been great having you, Dee and Colin. Thank you. But for Pat and Tony, it's now time for our pointless final and the chance to win our jackpot of £6,750. Congratulations, Pat and Tony. You have fought off all the competition and you have won our coveted pointless trophy, so very well done. You now have a chance to win our pointless jackpot, and at the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at £6,750. The rules are very simple. To win that money, all you have to do is find a pointless answer. That's an answer that none of our 100 people could think of. Now, we've had one pointless answer on the show today. You only have to find one more, and you will go home with that money. First, though, you've got to choose a category, and you can choose from these three options. They are the military, British Olympians, or Hollywood legends.
Well, the military could be war, or it could be ranks.
Yeah.
If it's ranks, I'm OK. If it's
Yeah.
wars, we need Dad.
Yeah.
So we'll think about that one. Olympians, how are
Too
you on
ambiguous,
Olympics?
isn't it? No.
Too ambiguous? Well, Hollywood legends.
I think it's got to be, really, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, do you think?
Well, you watched all the old movies when I was doing the Army.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
all
go with that.
We'll go with the Hollywood
OK,
legends.
you're going to go with Hollywood legends. Here we go. Let's find out what your question is. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Humphrey Bogart films as they could. Humphrey Bogart films, Richard.
Yeah, we're simply looking for any feature film made for general cinema release for which Humphrey Bogart has received an acting credit, please.
OK, there you go. You now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers, and all you need to win that £6,750 is for just one of those answers to be pointless. Your 60 seconds start now.
Well, Farewell, My Lovely,
Right, OK, never heard of that one. so that's a good one.
Casablanca.
Casablanca, yeah.
African Queen,
Maltese Falcon.
Maltese Falcon. We go Maltese Falcon,
What was the one you said that I didn't know?
Farewell, My Lovely.
Right, we'll go with that. That's
That was
definite.
remade with Robert Mitchum, but I'm sure Bogart did it first.
OK, that's fine.
So I know he did Sam Spade.
Yeah.
So that's
Bogart
a
did Sam
punt.
Spade. OK.
That's a punt.
Yeah.
That's a punt. So
That's fine.
Farewell, My Lovely,
OK.
African Queen.
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah. What was the last one you said?
Maltese Falcon.
Maltese Falcon.
Those are your 3?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Don't want any longer?
No.
OK, we'll stop the clock. Very good. We were looking for Humphrey Bogart films. I now need your 3 answers.
Farewell, My Lovely.
Farewell, My Lovely.
That's a bit of a punt. We think that might be Robert Mitchum, but we'll give it a go. African Queen
African Queen.
And the Maltese Falcon.
and the Maltese Falcon.
And the Maltese Falcon. OK, there we are. Of those 3, which do you think is your best shot at a pointless answer?
Well, if it's right, Farewell, My Lovely. But if it's wrong,
Farewell, My Lovely, we shall put last. And your least likely?
I think the African Queen will be best known.
OK, so let's put them up on the board in that order. And here they are. The African Queen, the Maltese Falcon, and Farewell, My Lovely. There they are. We were looking for Humphrey Bogart films. You said this was your least confident shot at a pointless answer.
Yes.
Remember, you only have to find one pointless answer to win that £6,750 jackpot. OK, let's see if the African Queen is right. And if it is, let's see how many people said the African Queen. Best of luck. It's right. It's right. Now, if this goes down to 0, you leave here with £6,750. Down it goes into the 20s. Into the teens, 18. So, obviously not a pointless answer. But it's a very well-known film, The African Queen, and only 18 people got it. It's looking pretty good, I'd say, for your next 2 answers. So only 2 more chances to win today's jackpot, £6,750. What would you do with £6,750, Tony?
I would get my eyes lasered so I didn't have to wear these glasses anymore. And I'd buy all my daughters new football boots for the new season.
Very good indeed. Pat, how about you?
I would take everybody that I know and love on holiday.
Brilliant. Very good indeed. Well, let's hope that these 2 remaining answers will allow you to do that. Your next answer is the Maltese Falcon. Again, this has to be right, and it has to be pointless if you're going to win that jackpot of £6,750. Let's see if it is. How many people said the Maltese Falcon? Is it right? It's right. It's right. We went down to 18 with the African Queen. Let's see how far we go down with the Maltese Falcon. Down into the 20s. Into the... 18 again! Can't fault you on your grouping. That is fantastic. Look at that. straight through the hole you made with the first answer. Not a pointless answer. That means you only have one more chance. One more chance to win today's jackpot. Everything is now hanging on Farewell, My Lovely, which you think was a Robert Mitchum film.
Yes, I do.
But you think was also remade with Humphrey
I'm not sure.
Bogart.
I'm pretty sure we're wrong on that. We should have gone to Have and Have Not, really.
You loved this answer about 3 minutes ago.
I know I did. But women are fickle, aren't they?
Farewell, My Lovely. This is your last shot at today's jackpot of £6,750. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said Farewell, My Lovely. Very best of luck, Pat and Tony. Oh, no! I was sure that was going to go down for you. Unfortunately, it didn't, I'm afraid. And that means you didn't win today's jackpot. You haven't found the all-important pointless answer. So today's jackpot of £6,750 will roll over onto the next show. But you have been fantastic contestants, and you do, of course, get to take home our trophy.
Thank you.
So, Richard.
Yeah, unlucky Pat, unlucky Tony. You obviously know your films, and you're exactly right about Farewell, My Lovely. There was a version in the 40s, not Humphrey Bogart, but the 75 one was Robert Mitchum, as you say. Let's take a look at the pointless ones. If you'd said To Have and To Have Not, just would have prolonged the agony, would have scored 2 points.
Oh,
So a good answer, but wouldn't have won you the money. Let's take a look at some pointless answers up here. All Through the Night was a pointless answer. Battle Circus plays an army surgeon in Korea. It was pointless. Dark Victory, where he plays Betty Davis's horse trainer who falls in love with her. Passage to Marseille, the crime drama Racket Busters, The Barefoot Contessa, possibly the best known of the pointless answers here. His co-star won an Oscar for that film. The Desperate Hours is penultimate film. The Road to Frisco, which is 2 truck drivers competing. And You Can't Get Away with Murder. All of those pointless. Very well done if you got any of those.
The Barefoot Contessa. You knew that one.
I did. I didn't wear shoes for about a year after I saw that film because I thought it was so wonderful.
Oh
Being
dear,
so
I'm
free.
so sorry, and you knew it. Well, unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to you, Pat and Tony, but it's been lovely having you on the show. You've been brilliant contestants. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you.
So nobody's won our jackpot today, which means it rolls over onto the next show when we will be playing for £7,750. Join us then to see if someone can win it. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.